And then the working from home. I think as far as our clients are concerned, it's become quite clear that they have a full expectation now that rather than thinking that home workers are kind of skiving and not really working very hard and, oh, working from home, I'll get the picture, rather than being full of doubts as to the commitment of the person, they're thinking, well, if you look at the figures and if you're led by science, you find they're actually more productive when they're working at home. It takes something like this for someone to start reading the science and understanding and believing that this is the way it is. So I think there's going to be plenty of support from clients to have home working. Now, not all home working, but some home working. So that thing called flexi time that so many parents have been fighting for the last 10 years and coming up against a brick wall in so many instances, suddenly permission for flexi time. It's no longer impossible for management to operate unless there's someone sitting beside them or opposite them or in the same room or in the same office. Suddenly, miraculously, their mind has been liberated into realizing that there's been this technology around all the time. If they'd just been prepared to try it, and they don't need to feel deserted or as if they haven't got a prop anymore. It's there for them. It's just at the other end of a line instead of sitting smack in front of them, inhaling their germs. Well, there's a thought. And that's a real progress, isn't it? And then there's, what about the work that you do when you actually are in the office or whether you're at home? What is the work that you're going to have required of you in this new digital age? Well, this has been evolving in thinking over the last couple of months. Certainly, it's become quite clear that what someone's going to be employed for is their ability to think and their ability to be upskilled and use all the digital equipment, which has suddenly become not only available, but is being transformed and being created even while I speak. Because suddenly, now it's okay not to be in the office. Everyone's being more demanding of just how good the systems are, how good the technology is, in order to help people be efficient and effective as they work from home. It's wonderful how you have to have something as bad as COVID, to have all these good things suddenly coming into the workplace and liberating a lot of people who have been putting up with very uncomfortable and hugely expensive commuting. And suddenly, what had to be no longer has to be. Why? Because someone started thinking differently. And with that one thought, everyone else thought, that's not a bad thought. But how incredible it's taken this long. It reminded me of how it took 25 years for a scientist, led by her scientific thinking, to prove to the medical world that it was bad for babies to be x-rayed in the mother's womb. She discovered it in the 50s. It didn't become by law, women must not be x-rayed for another 25 years. 25 years for an idea to be adopted. But here we are, and it's been adopted, this idea of flexi time more broadly, and it's only taken 2 months. It's amazing how a disaster like this can accelerate the change of mind. Why? It had to change. It's been forced to change. Screaming and squeaking, people have had to change their minds about it. And suddenly, they don't feel too bad about it. In fact, everyone feels rather good about it. They all feel great to have 2 or 3 days working from home, in my nice home, listening to the birds singing. Everyone's thinking there are some big advantages around the corner here. As long as we can all stay profitable and come up with what's required of us. So now we come to what is going to be required of us. And when I say us, I'm looking at office workers in the broadest sense. I'm looking at executive PAs, PA administrators, and all the plethora of roles that go under that kind of heading. What is going to be required of them? Are they going to go on being required? After all, everyone's had to become very much more adroit at using technology. People who couldn't do an email and find upper and lower case are suddenly miraculously discovering that they have to do it, so they will do it, and they are doing it. So is there a future? Is there a future for these people? Well, looking at the job specifications that we're handling, and they are virtual job specifications, it looks like there's a very big future for them. It does depend on a few changes taking place. One big thing is, while people have the time at their command to be able to spend it in a way of their choice, vital they should be upskilling themselves as far as technology is concerned. Over the last 25 years, it's been mainly the boys having their toys, playing with their mice and programming. Now's the time when women have to really step forward and make their mark in this way. So no one needs to feel fear. They need to feel urgency. Urgency to take action now, to know what it is you're good at, to know where it is you've got a gap, and plug that gap. Plug it. You can make a list of all the things you're good at, a list of all the things that you know someone else who's good at it, but you're not yet. And that becomes your, I must improve that part of myself. And this doesn't have to be done overnight. It can be approached in a very orderly way. But it is important that it's recognized by you that this is an area that needs to be stepped up. And I'm not suggesting for a moment that you should look at becoming really good at doing something you absolutely loathe doing. I'm suggesting that, as always, you only choose to become really good at something you feel passionate about. If it gives you great pleasure, if you really enjoy doing it, then that's what you need to be going for. Because with that passion and with that pleasure that it gives you to do it, you will become naturally extremely good and float to the top. So don't leave out the passion, but do keep the discipline and make sure that you're inspecting yourself on a regular basis, because things are continuing to move and move along fast. So that's my message to you. A lot of convergence, that's what everyone's saying. More homeworking. But the fun of seeing people as well, perhaps on a rota basis, perhaps not all of them at the same time, but everyone's feeling the same way. They all want to link minds and link hearts. So there is a future in the office. It just won't be as many. It just won't be 5 days a week. And perhaps that's a massive plus for everyone. So speak to you soon.